So women are the reason
You
why y'all
talking
don't
about
want to
where's
get
the
married?
man at? I'm telling you why. Huh?
As a clinician, I see couples every day. I work with couples. I work with their dynamics and their relationships and how they come across barriers and bridges. There are times when a person has made the decision to be selfish in a completely healthy way. There are moments when you choose yourself over your circumstance and your situation, and you choose yourself. And we don't know enough of the dynamics and the details here to know if that's what she was doing or not. We don't know if he was beating upside her head and taking care of her like a lot of situations do. Men people who are in abusive situations want their marriages too, right? So there's this dynamic. It's not all true. But when you say do the work,
It's cap.
her work might have been done in therapy, and the therapist suggested go do what's right for you, honor yourself. And if honoring myself isn't being with the person that I was with 20 years ago, because he's not the same person, and neither am I, like you're talking like there's no upward trajectory and growth while you are with somebody. We exist and we coexist, but I'm still an individual. I still change, I still grow, I still transition. I may have grown into somebody that you can no longer keep up with. I'm gonna stick with you? Nah, that might not be my dream.
Listen, go ahead, Delvin.
Devin
Go
be
ahead,
trying to
Delvin.
get in.
Yeah.
No,
Okay,
go ahead, nigga.
No, go ahead,
You've been church.
No.
This is total. I just you can't do it. Guy, like they said, guys see this and they're like, look, I can work myself and put myself in a position and elevate myself enough to give you the gift of being a housewife, a stay-at-home mom. There's a gift. You know what the economy is like out there. It is trash. But that's not good enough. I can sacrifice and put all this stuff out there and go it out so you can be a housewife. And so wherever they live, I'm pretty sure if she's a stay-at-home wife or mom, he makes a pretty decent living. I really don't believe that he was like, listen, I know you want to go build a SpaceX or Microsoft or Apple, but you're gonna have to get your ass back in the kitchen. I'm just not buying that.
That's what I'm saying.
I can't. I'm sorry. That makes no sense.
And
so if she want to go pursue her, if she want to go pursue her dream, what dream in general would have to be? I can't be with you. The dream doesn't work if we together. Somebody, I just need one example.
Me.
Just one.
That's good enough.
That's one.
So this is a metaphysical self-discovery kind of thing.
No, Delvin did what I said earlier. Guys try to solve problems, right? So he's saying that if she had a desire to do a thing, he would understand, try to figure it out, and it's likelihood that she may not have had one. And then go ahead, S&M, but you're adding stuff. This situation was proposed. It was set up in a way that's like, hey, I have this thing that everybody wants or thinks that I should want, but I simply don't want it. There was no discussion of there being any abuse or all the other things that I agree with you would justify maybe a person saying, hey, I'm choosing me, right? But can you also identify, though, Tia, that there's probably certain levels of selfishness that is not healthy, right? Like if you have responsibilities and commitments to other people, there's a point of, hey, so what we're trying to figure out now is where that line is.
Don't conflate the two that
point,
way.
Oh, that's what.
No, I'm just saying, like, we both can agree there's probably a line, but I'm saying, like, but go ahead, Jerry.
Yeah. So there is a line, and the line is where I don't get to be everybody in a marriage gets to say, my wife won't do this. My husband won't do this. We all get to throw that flag down wherever we feel like it's most appropriate. But then we're daring our partner to say, I am or I am not that person. If she drew her flag and said, listen, I think my purpose says I need to be this. He says, well, my wife doesn't do that. Then she's got to decide, is she going to be his wife or is she going to be her purpose, right? And so if he's committed to the marriage, right, he'll go, listen, I love you more than I love the idea of my wife. So I'm going to stay with you and rock with you throughout all of our years as you grow and develop and figure out what you're trying to do and be, right? That would be marriage, right? But if the man create, or woman, if the person creates a space, but it's the man's case, he's supposed to be the provider, right? If he creates a space and then she's like, yo, this ain't me. And he's like, yo, how dare you refuse this box I built for you? This gift, this nice cage. It's gold. It's got marble floors. But she's like, yo, it's still a cage because it's not my environment. It's not where I'm supposed to be. Now, should he have asked better questions? Yes. But you're supposed to be married. Give her room and space to grow. I think the reason, if she's leaving the marriage, then I have to assume, and we've all assumed something tonight, I have to assume that she's leaving because He drew a line and said, you can't be my wife and be X. And she said, well, then I won't be your wife. Because as long as they're both at the table and she's going, this is where I need to grow. He's like, well, let's see how we can do that. I don't know why she would get up from it. And that would be not only selfish, that'd be beyond selfish. That would be petty and small-minded.
Jay summed up what I was going to say in regards to that line in the sand, especially when I heard somebody say it's a gift. Well, a gift for who? And the fact that you came in with the mindset that it's a gift already said that 9 out of 10, your mindset, not you particularly, but somebody who had the gift mindset will already say, but I'm doing this for you. And you have this that nobody else has. So why would you want anything else? And if it's a gift, then he would feel like he's reneging on his opportunity to provide her with that gift if she want to go do something else, because now it's a status symbol for him. I was able to gift you this. And if she no longer wanted to be part of that because she wanted to do something else or whatever, then that gift now becomes a burden, becomes that cage. It becomes that poisonous apple that was supposed to feed her, but now it'll kill her spirit. And so I'm just going to go ahead and say I agree with Jay because I don't want to prolong the point. And I know this twice in one, man, I ain't used to it either. It might be the dashiki from Taiwan you got on.
It might be each other. Y'all deserve each other on that. And listen, man, we can move on. But this is the thing I find probably the most interesting about this, right? Not interesting, this is typical, right? Because somehow it still had to be about him not allowing her to do X, Y, Z. We had to frame it that way. And it just can't simply be. So I'll say this maybe so in closing, okay? Ladies, I suggest y'all tap in with yourselves for real, and decide on whether or not you want to step up and do certain things. Sorry. Have real conversations with your partner. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Curse God for putting y'all in charge in the baby making department, okay? Like, find some reconciliation, get some premarital, postmarital, during marital counseling, okay? Because I swear for God, I think some of y'all are creating things in your own head that's destroying families. I really, really, really do, okay? And because as a man, and I'll land with this, right? Because it wasn't like everything was all good. I remember as a man thinking about divorce at one point in time. It was like, you know what? I had to go through certain things. I had to stand on certain things. There was no way that I would be able to go back to my family or whoever, right? Or look at myself in the mirror and not have reasons as to why I was about to make this choice. And honestly, at the time, it probably was because I was unhappy. It was this fleeting thing of happiness, like, oh, she doesn't see me and all this other kind of stuff. And you know what happened? We went to therapy. And would you believe it? That reframing thing, you come out the situation and, oh my God, it's the greatest thing these past 15 years. You know what I'm saying? So as a person who's gone through, whether it's been depression sometimes or there's different ways that our minds affect us, sometimes you realize that sometimes it low-key really be in your brain. And so what I would do is try to find tangible things to make sure that it was not something that my anxiety was conjuring up. Make sure it was not something that I was imagining because maybe the chemicals in my brain was not working. So we didn't talk about things like mental health, which is a real thing, right? So I get that. And I don't want to come across like I don't have empathy. But what I don't have empathy for is like, because y'all avoided that. But what this story sounded like to me was yet another caricature of how women are just leaving relationships for the most ficklest of reasons. And that's what I'm pushing back on. Right? If you're talking about leaving for good reasons, 1000%. But if I'm pro-marriage and I hear men saying that the reason why they're reticent is because they can't trust after they make the type of commitment to a woman in marriage that men are expected to make, that when they see examples like this and hear people on podcasts talking about it and women on Clubhouse or in the comment sections at a growing, yeah, girl, yeah, it might have been one example, but those other people who become the choruses give the guys the reasons to turn the radio off on that marriage channel. And until y'all realize that, I don't think we're going to make any progress because y'all too busy pointing things at each other.